Today we are testing 9 vegan chocolate chip cookie recipes to see which one will become our new favorite. There are so many recipes out there on the internet and they all seem to have great reviews, but how do you know which one is actually the best before you waste your good ingredients? Well, today I am making 9 of the most popular vegan chocolate chip cookie recipes on the internet. I will be wasting my ingredients so you don't have to. And then I will be taste testing them with a friend to find out which one's the best. I try to be as consistent as possible with these. So I did use the same set of baking trays for each one. The biggest potential for error in these recipes lies in the way that we measure the flour. Most American recipes are measured in cups. And depending on how you measure with your cups, the amount of flour that you get in 1 cup can vary widely. So there is technically a proper way to measure flour with cups, which is to actually spoon the flour into the cup and then level it off. From my experience of asking around and talking to different people, I believe that at least 90% of Americans do not measure that way. Most Americans stick the cup in the flour and scoop it up, which packs the flour into the cup and gives you more flour. I wanted to try to make these recipes as close to as they were intended as possible. So if a recipe has weights, I'm going to use the weight to measure the flour. If that's not the case, then I'm going to try to determine what method they used. If I can find something on their website or see a video of them measuring the flour, then I will use their method. But if I can't find that, then as a last resort, I am going to use the scoop method that most Americans use. And I will let you know which method I used for each recipe. Also, some of these recipes I cut in half when I was making them because some of them just made way too many cookies and I'm making 9 cookie recipes already, so. You will notice that the sizes of these cookies are all different, and that is because I tried to use the size that was prescribed by the recipe. So a lot of them did not give a weight for each cookie. So what I did was I would weigh the full amount of the dough, and then if the recipe, let's say, said that it made 10 cookies and I had 500 grams of dough, then I would make my balls of dough 50 grams each. And I also rolled all of them into balls, which created beautifully round cookies. And I'm definitely going to do that in the future. The recipes that I'm testing today came from Ovenly, Baker by Nature, Tasty, Liv B, Chocolate Covered Katie, Pickup Limes, Simple Sweet Vegan, The New York Times, and the Almond Eater. I will put links in the description below for all of these recipes in case you want to try them yourself. So let's get into it. The first recipe I made was Ovenly's Secretly Vegan Salted Chocolate Chip Cookies. This one was a highly requested recipe in the comments of different YouTube videos and social media posts. And I started this recipe first because it required overnight refrigeration of the dough. And here is a cookie that has been cooling for about 10 minutes or so. It looks like it has a nice texture, so let's see how it tastes. I have Dominique here to help me. Dominique is vegan.
I am, yes.
Or longer than me.
11 years, yes.
So you might be familiar with some of these bloggers or the places where these recipes came from.
Okay.
I actually just have these numbered, so I'll have to actually even check my notes to know which one is which.
I like the taste and the texture. It's not too crumbly.
It's chewy. I feel like it's very sweet. The salt that's on the top is like kind of offsetting it a little bit. If it didn't have the salt on top, I think it might be too sweet for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does have a nice texture. It's very chewy and it has a lot of chocolate chips.
Which makes it...
We're like gonna eat the whole thing. We have 9 cookies.
Okay.
Oh, do we want to know which one that is?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, we would.
That That is the Ovenly recipe.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with them at all. I wasn't.
I hadn't heard of them, but it's a good recipe.
Okay, number 2. The next recipe is from a blog called Baker by Nature, which I found on Pinterest. And also, when you search Google for vegan chocolate chip cookie recipe, this is the 3rd result that comes up on Google. And this one has a 4.9 star rating out of over 300 ratings. I'm putting that out there, but just for context, I just want to let you know, I also make my own recipes. And you should be aware that we own our websites and we have complete control over which comments and reviews get published or don't get published. So I'm not saying that anyone did or did not manipulate their ratings. I'm not trying to say that. I just want you to know that it is a possibility when you're looking at these ratings so that you know how to use them in context. And here is that beautiful chewy cookie after cooling for 10 minutes. It looks amazing, but let's go to the taste test and find out.
They're bigger.
Well, I don't know if they're bigger, they're flatter. Maybe, I guess they're probably bigger, but these are thicker.
Yeah,
the first ones.
That's true. This is not as sweet as the first one. Texture is similar.
I think that it's actually a little chewier than the first one.
Yeah.
But the flavor, it's not as sweet.
But there's something in there. It's very chocolatey.
This one also has salt on the top.
Yes. Here I tasted it more than in the first one.
That could just be me.
No,
Because
I think because these were so sweet. And these are less sweet, so you notice the salt a little more, which I like. I really like salt on them.
Yeah. I think I like the texture of these a little more than the first one.
Yeah.
And that it's less sweet.
I think for me it would be the sweetness that makes these more of a winner than the first one. It's a step up.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay, so that one, that is from a blog called Baker by Nature,
Okay.
which I never heard of.
No, me neither. But good recipe, very solid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Number 3. Let's go.
Yes.
Our 3rd recipe is from Tasty. This is available on their website as well as their YouTube channel. And this one was highly requested in comments all over the internet. And it's also the 2nd result that comes up in Google when you search for vegan chocolate chip cookie recipe. It has a 4.5 star average rating from over 2,500 ratings. And I have to say this cookie is looking pretty good after cooling for 10 minutes. So let's see how it tastes. These are even bigger.
Yeah. We go up inside. Let's see. And up with the chocolate chips if you.
Yeah, and these are also flat, kind of like this.
These are a bit more chewy but firmer. Like from the outer.
The edge.
It's a bit more caramelized on these edges, yeah.
I feel like this has more of a buttery flavor than the first two.
Yeah. I was like, there's something
richer.
Yeah, some note in there, but yeah, you're right.
I like this one probably more than the first two.
Yeah.
Which is, well, they're all good, so that's
no,
good.
they're all. We didn't have one that was like no, but this because you kind of want the buttery taste in there too. Yeah, this hits the sweet spot.
Yeah, it adds like the depth to the sweetness instead of just pure sugar. It gives it like a balance.
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like this one. So that last one, number 3, was Tasty.
Okay.
So
Not bad.
big one
Yeah.
delivered.
Yeah, kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Sometimes, well, never
Yeah.
mind. But yeah. No, it's very good recipe.
Yeah, I agree. It was really good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's try the 4th one.
Yes.
The 4th cookie I made is from a recipe from Liv B. I found this one from her pretty popular YouTube video, and she uses a vegan butter spread for this recipe, which that specific brand I don't have available to me in my area, so I used the Earth Balance tub butter, which I bought specifically for this recipe. She did not give weights, and she did not specify whether to spoon measure or not, but when I watched the video, I saw that she starts off with 1.5 cups of flour and says that you can add an extra 1/4 cup of flour if needed. So I decided to start off by spoon measuring the 1.5 cups, and then I did end up using the extra 1/4 cup of flour. This recipe also calls for 1/3 to 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. So I went with the larger amount, the 1/2 cup, but it still ended up looking pretty sparse. And let's get that lovely shot of a cookie 10 minutes out of the oven, and we can move on to the taste test. Also flattish.
Yeah, these are really flat.
And they're Fewer chocolate chips.
I mean, they're still chewy, but yeah.
Yeah, something's weird with the texture. First you taste the sugar, and then you taste the flour.
Right.
And it's like not all coming together.
It's true. Now that you mentioned it, the flour just hit me.
Right.
At the back of my tongue, I was like, that's weird.
I mean, the texture is good. It's chewy, but it's just... It's weird.
Yeah.
Maybe if I hadn't tasted these first three, I'd be like, oh, this is fine.
That's tough luck for the fourth one. I think you're right. It's like it doesn't gel together as good as with the other three in terms of the ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not enough chocolate chips, which is never a good sign.
Right.
Oh, who was that one?
I think you know who this person is. I mean, I didn't know. Liv B.
Oh! Sorry, Liv.
Yeah.
We'll just, yeah, it's unbiased. It is what it is. Okay.
Number 5.
Moving on.
Our 5th recipe comes from a blog called Chocolate Covered Katie. This is the first result that comes up in Google when you search vegan chocolate chip cookie recipe, and it has over 1,000 ratings with an average star rating of 4.98 stars. I also want to mention that while the original recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of non-dairy milk, in the instructions it says to add 1 to 2 additional tablespoons of non-dairy milk if you need to. So I added 1 tablespoon and the dough was still incredibly dry. So I added the 2nd tablespoon, and at that point the dough looked like a complete mess. But I decided to put it in the refrigerator to chill for the 2 hours required and hope that it would firm up in that process. Unfortunately, it continued to look like a mess all the way through the time when it came out of the oven. They really do not look anything like the pictures that are shown, so it is possible that I messed up the recipe with the almond milk. I increased the bake time by a minute because after 11 minutes, the cookies did not look done at all, and they still didn't look done after 12 minutes, but I took them out anyway. And as you can see here, this cookie still looks pretty bad after being baked. But let's put it to the taste test and see if by any chance it tastes better than it looks. This one had some issues.
Yeah.
It looks interesting.
Yeah.
So I want to disclose on this one that there was some room in the recipe for adjustment depending on what you think that it needs.
Okay. Yeah, it has this, I don't even know what it is.
It looks like oatmeal.
A bit, yeah. I was gonna ask you if it was made like with oat flour or something. No, it's like, it's regular flour and regular everything.
Yeah.
Oh,
So let's see. Hopefully it's edible. Mm-mm.
you can eat it, but it's not what it's supposed to be.
Mm-mm. No. It just tastes like flour. I mean, maybe not just like flour, but like that's the main thing you taste.
True. The texture is so off that you immediately go like, no, because it's not a chocolate chip cookie.
So that might have been my error, but also the instructions weren't very good. That one is chocolate covered Katie.
Okay. With baking, you need precise measurements. If you're just like trying to wing it, you go wrong so quickly. Even for experienced bakers. I mean, I bake myself, and if I don't get precise measurements, it's kind of off.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. All right. 6.
Number 6.
My 6th recipe comes from Pick Up Limes. This one is a pretty big YouTube channel, and it comes from their 3 vegan cookie recipe video. This one looks almost exactly like the photos. Seems to have kind of a cakey texture, but let's see how it tastes. These are probably maybe the puffiest? I don't know.
They look very pillowy.
Texture seems kind of weird.
It's drier than the other ones.
Yeah, or cakey almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, it tastes like cake more than a cookie.
That's odd. Like it doesn't deliver what it's supposed to. On a brighter note, the sweetness level is not too much, not too little.
That's true.
The chocolate taste of everything, it's nice, but it's not what it's supposed to be.
It almost is like what you would expect if they marketed it as a healthy cookie.
True.
Like you know those cookies that they're like, oh, it's healthy, it's keto, it's this, it's that, and then you're like, ooh. I wouldn't make it again.
No, And it's not really selling you. Can you sell this as a vegan cookie also to a non-vegan?
Yeah, no.
Then it would really fall flat.
Yeah, I think all of these last three, the 4, 5, and 6, all
They're not really
were not
classic,
good.
no.
I would not make any of them again.
No.
The first 3, I would probably make any of them, but
Yeah.
the third was
The
best.
third was, yeah.
So this one was Pickup Limes.
Pickup limes. I kind of figured because, well, I mean, she's in Europe too. That makes it a different imagination of a chocolate chip cookie. Because I'm from Europe originally. It's kind of different what you get there in terms of American style cookies than what you get originally here in the United States. So I think that might play a factor in it too. Like I said, it's not bad, but as you say, more cakey.
Yeah.
Which is what cookies are in Europe also a lot like. More cakey, more, yeah.
Good to know.
Yes.
I didn't know that. Let's go to the last 3.
Last 3?
Recipe number 7 is from a blog called Sweet Simple Vegan. And I found this recipe on Pinterest. This one came out looking a little bit darker than the photos. So I don't know whether the baking time might have been a little bit too long. The recipe said 13 to 14 minutes, and I baked these for 13 minutes. But here they are. Let's try them. These look like a standard grandma cookie, like a cookie my grandmother would make.
It's not as moist as the first 3 were. Sweetness level, well...
It's not that sweet.
No.
I think the texture... I mean, I like chewy cookies, so I could be biased, but the texture, it's not as cakey as the pickup line, but it's close. I mean, it's in between.
Yeah, it has little hints of it. And it's not as chewy as you had with the first 3. This is kind of like in between. It reminds me kind of store-bought cookies, texture-wise.
I feel like store-bought cookies are a little bit harder, usually.
What true?
Crispier.
True.
I don't know. I don't love it. There's nothing in the flavor that's
No, nothing
jumping
stands
out.
No.
It's the best thing about the cookie is the chocolate chips.
The dough has to deliver.
Yeah, I don't feel like there's much flavor in there, and the texture isn't.
No.
It's not my type of texture.
You wouldn't rave about these. If you ate them somewhere, you wouldn't go like, oh, I need the recipe.
Yeah. That was Simple Sweet Vegan.
Okay. Again, meh.
I feel bad for all these recipes following the first 3.
It is what it is.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next one. Maybe we can still be redeemed.
Yeah.
We have 2 more. Okay, our number 8 recipe is from the New York Times, and it has weights. Woohoo! When I went to bake these, I did realize that this one is calling for coconut sugar, and I somehow missed that when I was doing my grocery shopping, so I used brown sugar instead. Also, this recipe wanted me to add 12 ounces of chocolate chunks, which was kind of insane based on the amount of dough that was there. So I cut it in half and I only used 6 ounces of chocolate chunks. And wow, this is a huge cookie. And the texture looks great, so I can't wait to try it. All right, these are giant cookies.
Yeah. Very pretty.
Yeah.
Very gourmet.
Yes, that's the word. They look, but it's just, I think it's just the size, right?
Yeah. It is also kind of like when you break it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
All right, let's see if the taste matches. The edges are crispy.
Yeah. These have like the crispiest of them all.
And I actually really like the crispy edges because it has more of that caramelized flavor.
Exactly, yeah. The question is though, other than that, does this deliver much in terms of taste? I think we're now really stuck with number 3 because of the buttery taste.
I think it has more flavor than the first and second one.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's as good as the third one, but it's definitely more flavorful. I taste a little bit of the floury taste on it.
Yes.
That's kind of pulling away from the overall taste of the cookie because like the edges are amazing. Like the the edges have that caramelized taste that's really good. I think it's a good recipe.
It's very decent.
So far that one's in second place.
Yeah, I would say.
And that one is the New York Times. Another another big recipe maker. Last one. Let's do this. We are down to the final recipe in our taste test, which comes from a blog called The Almond Eater. and I found this recipe on Pinterest. As you can see, these cookies spread out a lot in the oven, but they look like they have a nice chewy texture, so let's taste them.
I mean, this one's also big, but it's kind of like
Thin.
It's thin, yes. You could almost look
Yeah, it is.
kind of.
You can see the light through there.
Yeah.
Well, it could be good or it could be bad because it's definitely going to be chewy.
Yeah, I can already see that. Inside it's chewy. It's not dry, which is good. And there's a decent amount of chocolate chips.
It's very sweet,
Yeah.
but the sweetness has something else.
I actually really like this one.
Yeah?
Even though it's very sweet. Because I don't taste like flour. I think the tendency is there. You have less sugar, there's always a little bit of the risk that you have more of a floury taste. Not necessarily, but yeah, sometimes it just is what it is. I like this one. And it's
Actually,
not as sweet as, which one was it, number 1? That was super sweet.
It's almost like there's more salt in this one that's kind of cutting the sweet. This one is definitely like the thinnest one and the chewiest. I mean, I like it. What do you think? Is number 8 better or number 9?
I think here you said with the crispy edges, right?
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
Most of the flavor in this one is coming from the salt, I feel like.
True. I mean, I don't know how much you put in there.
I don't know either. I don't remember. It just tastes that way to me. I think I lost my mind baking 9 batches of cookies. I don't remember anything. I like blacked out.
There's no shame in that, but making 9 batches of cookies. But you were really raving about those crispy edges here.
Yeah.
But other than that, this doesn't have very much going for it in terms of being like extraordinary in flavor. It's a good cookie, number 8, but it misses that I would instantly recognize it, or it's like a signature cookie, while the number 9 has kind of a signature type of flavor.
I like the texture better on number 9, but I think for me, like the crispy edges and the taste of the edges on number 8 kind of sells it for me over number 9. For me, number 3 is still the best.
Number 3 is the best, hands down. And these two are good run-ups.
Yeah? All right, let's see what number 9 was. Okay, number 9 is a blog called The Almond Eater.
Oh, yes. Okay.
All
Good.
right.
Yes.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie, for having me.
Okay, so there you go. Tasty is our overall winner. And as a runner-up, I liked the New York Times, while Dominique liked the recipe from the Almond Eater. And we can also say that the Ovenly recipe and the Baker by Nature recipe were not bad at all. They were actually quite good, and I would not be embarrassed to serve those to guests. Honestly, any of those 5, no one would guess that they're vegan. As for the other 4 recipes, I personally wouldn't make any of those 4 again, but if you do like cakey cookies, the Pickup Limes cookie might be a good option for you. One thing that actually surprised me about this taste test was that I was expecting the cookies made with vegan butter to have more flavor than the cookies made with coconut oil or, you know, some other type of oil. But actually the winner, the Tasty, is made with coconut oil, and the 2 runners up are made with vegan butter. Also, I didn't see any correlation between the chill time and how much we liked the cookies. Our winner has a 30-minute chill time, but the 2 runners up had no chill time. And the one with a 12-hour chill time was quite good, but did not win and was not in the top 3. I would be curious though whether chilling the runners up for 12 hours or chilling the winner for 12 hours would make a difference in the recipe. I don't know. If you try it, let me know, because I have enough cookies to last me for a year, and I will not be making cookies for a while. I hope this has been helpful for you in maybe helping you choose a good vegan chocolate chip cookie recipe to make without having to try 9 of them like I did. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. That's the one that I would use as my go-to from now on.
And you're gonna sell it as your homemade recipe. No, because no. Definitely, if you have a good recipe, sell it as your own.
Not on the internet, though.
No.
That's stealing.
No. Between friends.
Yeah, I only lie to people I know, not people I don't know on the internet. I would never do that to you.
No,